what we've seen with a lot of wallets and crypto users to date, like if you've ever tried to go and get your friends to go and use a crypto product, it can be pretty scary for them. And I think what we're going to see is we'll see businesses becoming a larger segment of the actual direct users of public blockchains. They will then create products that rely on on-chain interaction, and then they'll surface those products to end users. And end users might not know which blockchains that they're actually using or how they're actually using it. They just know, hey, I'm doing this specific function that provides value to me.
Hey everybody, Tanner here with WAGMI Ventures. On today's episode, we have Justin Gregorius, co-founder of Pine Street Labs and formerly with A16Z and CoinList. For anyone who's new, this is the WAGMI Ventures podcast where we do company snapshots with interesting founders from across Web3. Check out wagmiventures.io to learn more about the syndicate behind the podcast, but for now, let's get into it with Justin from Pine Street Labs. All right. Hey, everybody. I'm here with Justin Gregorius, co-founder and CEO of Pine Street Labs. Justin, how's it going today?
It's going great, Tanner. I really appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, I'm really excited to chat. I know we actually have a ton to talk about. So let's just jump in. First question I typically always kind of start with is just a little bit more about you and kind of your story and what brought you to launching Pine Street Labs.
Yeah, totally. Quick background on me. Really got interested in crypto when I was still in college back in 2016. Became pretty obsessed with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Ended up starting the crypto club at my college, and then ended up joining CoinList as an early employee there. I was at CoinList for around 3.5 years. And while I was there, was spent running, token sales, token distributions, then went on to be involved with lending, trading, and staking there. After CoinList, I was at A16Z for around 6 months. While I was there, I was doing a lot of stuff around on-chain operations for the fund, mostly related to on-chain governance and staking. I guess So my co-founder and I, his name is Phil Glassman, we actually had lived together for the last 2 years on Pine Street in San Francisco, which is where the name of our company comes from. And he had also spent his entire career working in crypto. He worked at places like Bitmain, was the founding engineer at River Financial. We would come home from our day jobs and hang out in our apartment and talk about some of the problems we had. And one of the major problems that we would always kind of touch on was how difficult it is for businesses in crypto to effectively manage and extend the functionality of their wallets. So if you're a business in crypto, you really only have 3 major options in terms of kind of managing and extending your wallets. The first one is to roll your own solution, go through and hire a wallet engineering team in-house. This is pretty time consuming, very expensive, very hard roles to hire for, and typically not the core business of the business that actually needs this service. They're focused on higher level business applications and whatnot. The other option is to use a third party provider like a custodian. One of the problems with using custodians is that they just move very slow and they're not very customizable. So if you are a business that needs to do something very, very bespoke to launch your own product, you're probably not going to have that support from your custodian. And then the last option would be to use more retail-focused tools like a browser wallet. That's obviously not sufficient for when you're dealing with, LP money or customer funds that are in, the millions or billions of dollars. And so we just figured that there needed to be a better solution here. And so that's why we wanted to go out and build Pine Street Labs.
Yeah, I love it. Super interesting. So just high level, what is Pine Street Labs and what are you guys building?
Totally. So Pine Street Labs is a enterprise software company that services crypto companies. We're building products to help businesses use blockchains. We're doing that with our flagship product that we call Wallet OS. And so to take a step back here, again, each blockchain that launches brings a totally new set of challenges for businesses because they need to support novel applied cryptography, encoding schemes, consensus engines, etc. And especially if for existing blockchains, when there are network upgrades, there's all this diligence and things that need to be committed from the enterprise in order to kind of manage all of that. And so this is very costly, and it's not really an optional cost. These businesses need to go through and update their wallet software and manage their wallet software if they want to be interacting with these blockchains. And so Wallet OS is a system for automating workflows, building transactions, and deploying wallets for any blockchain. We've built it specifically for enterprises with scale and security in mind. So that's like a lot of words. What concretely is it? Concretely, it is a control plane and an API. The control plane manages modular applications, and the API provides a unified interface for users to interact with those modular applications. These modular applications or modules are registered to Wallet OS, and they implement a set of interfaces to surface blockchain functionality to end users via the API. And so if you think about custody being comprised into three layers, there's the data layer, which is concerned with fetching chain state and mempool information for the network. There's wallet management, wallet management is a collection of functions that manipulates these wallet objects, creates these transactions, and manages the ownership model of coins. And then signing is, actually the crucial step for changing ownership. And Wallet OS is middleware that basically exists below business applications and on top of signing devices to basically facilitate all of this functionality.
Got it. Super interesting. So just to dig in on that concreteness a little bit more, like specifically, what are some of the things that enterprises are wanting to do or be able to do that it's currently difficult to do? You touched on this a bit, but what's going to be possible because of the work at Pine Street Labs?
Totally. The question as to why does all this matter, right? And the answer to that is, businesses in crypto are increasingly wanting to use these public blockchains to produce the products and business lines that they need for their business. So a really good example here might be, staking, for example. So if I'm a custodian or an exchange and I want to go through and I want to not only support a new asset for send transactions and be able to have users deposit it, but I also want to have them be able to stake their assets or stake their tokens from my product. You need to be able to construct the actual staking transaction, which is going to be different from that send transaction. And so if you want to get staking live for, say, 5 different blockchains, those are different messages to actually tell the chain that, hey, these assets are now being staked to this specific validator. There are technical differences across these different blockchains. And the idea with Wallet OS is that now you have a unified interface via this API to where you just need to hit the same endpoint, and Wallet OS actually handles all that technical nuance for you. And you don't need to worry about how do I construct a staking transaction on blockchain X versus blockchain Y.
Got it. That's really interesting. So I'm really curious about some of the thinking behind going the non-custodial route, and how does it connect with some of the bigger philosophy at Pine Street Labs? It may have been totally a pragmatic decision too, so I'm not kind of trying to force an answer here, but I'm just curious some of the thinking behind that.
Yeah, totally. So, there are a lot of companies that are focused on building signing processes, whether these are MPC companies or, existing providers like custodians and whatnot. I think that is, there are a lot of interesting and hard problems there. I think that the area that is less served is the area that we're working on, which is basically this messaging layer that interacts with signing processes or above it. And so we wanted to really just kind of be laser focused on this problem rather than expanding the scope of a super large problem to include the signing part as well. And we also understand that a lot of our clients, they already have their signing processes, and they don't necessarily want us to come in and prescribe signing processes to them. And so that allows us to work with a wider set of set of clients there.
Got it. Super interesting. So how are you guys thinking about adoption and facilitating enterprises entering Web3? So I'm kind of thinking specifically in the context of the bear market where, potentially outsider sentiment might be at especially low points, right? So I guess I'm thinking about go to market? Is outsider adoption a big piece of things right now? Is that maybe a down the road thing? And you're kind of working with the clients you've gotten traction with now. How is all that going?
Yeah, great question. So, the way that I think about this is, don't try to go and convince someone of, hey, not only should you care about crypto, but then you should also use our products. I think that for us, we want to go and service crypto native businesses that feel this pain every single day, rather than trying to bring people that are maybe not convinced that they want to use public blockchains for their business functions yet. And so we have a specific focus on businesses in crypto, like custodians, exchanges, staking as a service companies, wallets that want to go multi-chain, basically any sort of business that wants to interact on chain in a very serious way. But I do think that over the long term, I mean, I think like in 30 years, for example, we'll see every business in some capacity using public blockchains for either business functions or launching products. And I think that adoption will come from products like Wallet OS. But I don't think it would be very wise of us to go and try to
Sure.
convince people that aren't currently building on that.
Yeah, totally. That makes a lot of sense. So I want to zoom out here because I'm really curious about kind of the possibilities here. So I'm curious about what interesting possibilities are you most excited about for what could be built at Pine Street Labs, and maybe things people aren't even aware of are possible yet or available at scale. What's some of the thinking at the frontier here?
Yeah, so I think that what we've seen with a lot of wallets and crypto users to date, like if you've ever tried to go and get your friends to go and use a crypto product, it can be pretty scary for them. And I think what we're going to see is we'll see businesses becoming a larger segment of the actual direct users of public blockchains. They will then create products that rely on on-chain interaction, and then they'll surface those products to end users. And end users might not know which blockchains that they're actually using or how they're actually using it. They just know, hey, I'm doing this specific function that provides value to me. And I think in order to get there, we need to make it really easy for those businesses to use any blockchain that they want, any application on top of those blockchains that they want, that then provides them to build these end products to users to where this technical complexity is completely abstracted away. So that's what I'm most excited about. You can imagine, someone that wanted to launch, hey, here's just an NFT application, and it doesn't matter to the end user whether these NFTs are on Solana or on Ethereum or on any other chain. For the end user, it's just, I care about this specific NFT. I want to go out and buy it, and I can do it through this application.
Yeah, super interesting. Super interesting. So some exciting news this week. I think it was this week, right? You guys raised $6 million in a round led by Polychain, and there was participation from folks like Coinbase Ventures, Figment, some other great investors. Can you talk about that experience fundraising during this particular market, and perhaps also just kind of share any generalizable insights that might be helpful to others who are thinking about raising in this environment?
Yeah, totally. I think that for us, we were very diligent about who we wanted to work with as partners, and really kind of speaking with people that felt these problems every single day, right? And so going to them and describing what we were building and the problem that we're trying to solve, we were in this interesting paradigm where our investors feel this problem, right? If you're an investor and you want to participate on chain for your portfolio companies, whether you're casting governance votes or providing liquidity, that can be pretty difficult with existing solutions. So that is something that they feel every single day. We were fortunate enough to get some amazing businesses to participate as well. And, they obviously feel it every single day when they're trying to participate on chain. So we were able to kind of like really touch on that pain point just because they felt it. And I think, for founders that are going out and raising in this environment right now, I think it's a matter of really just being very, very clear with your vision and really kind of narrowing in as to how do we ship something that is going to be minimally viable, like something that we can get out very quickly, but still built correctly, and actually start to show some traction. I think having a defined kind of roadmap is super important, and especially as we kind of deal with the current environment that we're in right now.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I'm curious about this, on that roadmap piece, say everything goes great, bear market becomes bull market again. What's happening at Pine Street Labs 5 years from now, say, if, everything proceeds kind of according to plan, which, tough assumption, but,
Yeah. Planning 5 years out in crypto is always a hard task.
Right.
5 years ago was 2017. A lot has changed since. So I think about it more in terms of like let's think about like the next 12 to 18 months. And I think the way that we think about that, it's continuing to add support for more networks, add support for new transaction types, and really kind of work on this product feedback loop of shipping product to clients, seeing how they're using it, seeing what they like, what they don't like, going out and like iterating on that, and can really developing that process that will allow us to take this huge piece of marble and kind of carve a statue out of it over time. So that's sort of how I think about it. I think that the first idea is let's go out and solve this problem that we know is very acute and does exist in the market, and that it's hard for businesses to use blockchains. Let's solve that first, and then let's hear what their other problems are and what is tangentially related to what we're doing that we can easily extend our product to ease those secondary acute pains that pop up once we solve that first one. So it's more about like a framework as to how we think about our product going forward, rather than having a super defined set of this is what is going to happen in 5 years, because crypto changes so fast. I think it would be a fool's errand to kind of think that way.
Totally. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, general advice, we touched on some fundraising advice, but I'm curious, more general advice for folks that are, whether they're on the sideline right now or whether they're kind of in the game, already building or thinking about building, what general advice would you have for kind of navigating Web3, just building in this space?
Yeah. Solve problems that you have. I think the best businesses come out of these like secrets or non-obvious knowledge that you can only gain from personal experience, and think about the problems that you have either as like an everyday user or an operator or a builder in crypto. What are some of the things that you wish existed that would make your life a lot easier, and extrapolate that out? Are other people going to find that valuable? Do other people have this problem? And I think having that unique knowledge about something like that then allows you to go through and build the best product to actually solve that. So that's what we did with Pine Street, where Phil and I had this problem every day for the last 5 years, and so that's why we wanted to go out and solve it. And I think any builder that's out there, try to solve problems that you have every single day, because you probably have unique knowledge that you don't even necessarily recognize as being unique because it's so in your face every single day.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. So, what are you guys working on right now? And just wrapping up, kind of what's the best way for people to follow along in your journey and maybe even get involved, help out?
Yeah, absolutely. So the best way to get involved or stay up to date is to go to pinestreetlabs.com. You can request access to WalletOS there. Once you sign up, you'll also be included in our newsletter, which we send out on a monthly basis. You can also find us on Twitter at Pine Street Labs. And in terms of like what we're focused on, we're continuing to focus on shipping support for new blockchains, shipping support for new transaction types. Really kind of focused on building this product feedback loop I talked about, and we are actively hiring for senior software engineer roles right now. People that have a background in Rust and applied cryptography that want to work on hard problems.
Very cool. Justin, thank you so much for the time. Really enjoyed chatting, and I can't wait to keep watching all the great progress as things progress over the next weeks and months.
Tanner, really, really appreciate it, and have a fantastic day.
You too. Take care.
Thanks.